The grand chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with anticipation. Councillor Vexter, a towering crystalline being from the Andraxian Empire, adjusted his translation matrix as he prepared to deliver the ultimatum that would finally bring the upstart species called humans to heel. The delegation from Earth will now approach. His voice resonated through the chamber, translated into 1,000 languages simultaneously. Hazel Mercer straightened her uniform as she walked forward, her boots clicking against the polished obsidian floor. Beside her, Leo Chen carried a simple datapad, his expression carefully neutral. They were humanity's ambassadors to ordinary people, representing an entire species before the most powerful assembly in the K-load-known galaxy. The council chamber was designed to intimidate. Tier upon tier of seats rose into the darkness above, occupied by representatives from civilizations that had conquered star systems before humans had discovered fire. Holographic displays showed the military might of the council's enforcers, fleets that could glass planets, weapons that could ignite stars. Vexter's faceted body refracted the chamber's light into sharp cutting beams. Humans of Earth, your species has been evaluated. You have expanded beyond your home system, established colonies, and begun to assert yourselves in galactic affairs. This cannot continue unchecked. Hazel felt Leo tense beside her, but neither spoke. They had been briefed. They knew what was coming. The Galactic Council hereby decrees that humanity shall pay tribute. Vexter continued. The chamber fell silent. 30% of all resources extracted from your colonies, 15% of your military vessels to be surrendered for decommissioning, and 100,000 of your population annually to serve as laborers in council-designated facilities. A murmur rippled through the assembled aliens. Some species had submitted to such terms. Others had been annihilated for refusing. Furthermore, the councillor added, his tone carrying the weight of eons of unchallenged authority, humanity will abandon all territorial claims beyond the Sol system. Your expansion ends here, today. These terms are non-negotiable. You have one rotation of your planet to respond. Hazel glanced at Leo. In his eyes, she saw the same fire she felt burning in her chest. They had discussed this moment during the long journey to the council station. They had debated, argued, and ultimately decided together. Leo stepped forward. Councillor Vexter, we have Earth's response. Already, the crystalline being's surprise was evident. You do not wish to consult with your government. No need, Hazel said, moving to stand beside Leo. We were given full authority to respond, and humanity's answer is clear. She held up the datapad. On its screen, a single word glowed in simple, unadorned text. No. The silence that followed was absolute. It pressed down on the chamber like a physical weight. Somewhere in the upper tiers, something that might have been breathing stopped. Vexter leaned forward, his structure creaking with the movement. Perhaps your translation matrix is malfunctioning. You cannot mean no, Leo repeated, his voice steady and clear. We decline your tribute. We reject your terms, and we will not be intimidated. The chamber erupted. Councillors from a dozen species began speaking at once, their voices creating a cacophony of shock and outrage. Some laughed harsh alien sounds that held no humor. Others simply stared, unable to process what they had heard. You are primitives, roared a delegate whose species Hazel couldn't identify. Your civilization is barely 3 centuries old. You have no right. We have every right, Hazel interrupted, her voice cutting through the chaos. The right that every sentient species possesses, the right to self-determination. Vexter raised one crystalline appendage, and silence fell once more. You understand what you have done. The Council does not make idle threats. Species that refuse tribute are eliminated. Your military is no match for ours. Your technology is centuries behind. What makes you think you can resist? Leo smiled then, and it was not a pleasant expression. You've studied humanity, Counselor. You've analyzed our wars, our history, our nature. So let me ask you a question. In all your research, did you ever find a single instance where we submitted to subjugation willingly? Irrelevant, Vexter said. But there was something new in his tone. Uncertainty. Is it? Hazel asked. You've conquered species with superior technology. You've dominated civilizations that outnumbered you. But have you ever faced a species that simply refused to lose? She activated the datapad, and holographic images filled the chamber. Humans fighting impossible odds, besieged cities holding out against overwhelming forces, colonies surviving in environments that should have killed them. Again and again, humanity clawing survival from the jaws of extinction. We are stubborn, Leo said quietly. Unreasonably, irrationally stubborn. We fight losing battles. We hold impossible positions. We survive catastrophes that should wipe us out. Not because we're stronger or smarter or more advanced, but because we refuse to accept that some fights can't be won. Hazel finished. Vexter's light dimmed. Around the chamber, counselors shifted uneasily. They had intimidated countless species into submission. But intimidation required fear, and these humans showed none. You would doom your species over pride? Vexter asked. No, Hazel said. We would preserve our species by refusing to be slaves. There are worse things than death, counselor, and living on our knees is one of them. The chamber remained silent. For the first time in millennia, the Galactic Council faced something it had never encountered. Absolute, unshakable defiance backed not by superior force, but by pure, unyielding will. Leo and Hazel turned and walked toward the exit. Behind them, Vexter's voice rang out. Where are you going? We have not dismissed you. Hazel looked back over her shoulder. We've delivered our response. Now, if you want to enforce your tribute, come and take it. The doors sealed behind them, leaving the council in stunned silence. In the shadows of the upper tiers, an ancient being who had observed civilizations rise and fall for 10,000 years whispered to its companion. I have seen empires that commanded entire galaxies. I have witnessed species with technology beyond comprehension, but I have never seen anything quite as terrifying as a species that simply will not break. Humanity had spoken. One word, one simple, devastating word, no. And the galaxy would never be the same.